if you look at the transformation or finding new growth engines, part of that China has been successful on the trade front. For example, you look at how much is China's market share in total U.S. imports. That number was over 20% before the first trade war, and now it's below 10%. So there, China has to find new destinations for its products. And I would say China has been pretty successful in diversifying destinations, and overall export growth exceeded expectations last year. But the domestic front, as you said, weaning itself off of the property-driven, old infrastructure-driven growth, that has been tougher. And part of that is intrinsically, it is a difficult task. How do you convince people to spend more? How do you build up your services industry that hire a lot of people? But part of it is a lack of experience or need for more experimentation and bolder action and willingness to spend more money. And our view is that it's going to take time for the government to figure out how do we transform the economy from that old property infrastructure-driven to more consumption and services-driven economy. And hence that dichotomy, that two-track economy of strong exports and weaker domestic demand is likely to continue.
Yeah, and again, solving the challenge of the Chinese consumer and getting them to actually open their pockets more and become more confident spending has been an issue. And what two factors that some economists have linked towards this also is the downturn in the property sector, which they feel also is something that needs to be solved before consumer confidence returns, and also the fact that we see youth unemployment at fairly high levels and perhaps a challenge in terms of generating jobs right now. What do you think is the more crucial or perhaps the more worrying concern as it links towards the revival of the Chinese consumer and consumer confidence? Because it seems you need to solve these two problems before you can actually unlock any consumer confidence in China. Which one do you think should policymakers and economists in China perhaps focus on more? Is it going to be the property sector woes, or is it going to be the fact that unemployment remains at persistently stubborn levels right now?
I will answer that question in two ways. And if I compare sort of which one is more so-called exogenous, I do think the property price, if you can somehow stabilize people's expectation of a future price declines, that will be more important in terms of bolstering confidence, and so that we have investment, we have a consumption, we have more jobs. So if I have to answer between the two, what is the most exogenous, what is the factor that can turn things around, I would say stabilizing the property prices. But the second part of my answer would be, nowadays you see labor market weakness, property prices, the involution or super competitive price cutting. I think a lot of it is just telling you the macro environment is challenging. I think we want to sort of extract ourselves away from a specific question and think about the bigger picture, think about the broader macro economy. Is there a way, through macro thinking and macro adjustment, policy adjustment, to really give enough of a demand to the economy and give enough of a confidence to the broader economy? I think once the macro economy turns around, a lot of these issues, the labor market, the property sector, the anti-involution, the deflation, all of these are interconnected.